Hey, I just got back from a 10-day metal detecting trip with my buddies in England. We got to detect on beautiful fields like this, or stubbly fields like this, and then, of course, just normal plowed fields like this for 10 days. In that time, this is every target I dug. I decided to keep it all this time until the end just to give you an idea of how much digging goes on these metal detecting trips to England. This first container is nothing but the junk targets, shotgun shell head stamps, pieces of aluminum, just junk metal. Big pieces, small pieces, tiny pieces. You gotta dig everything out there, even targets that probably aren't gonna be anything. This next one contains lead. There is so much lead out in those fields, little tiny pieces of lead, medium-sized, big pieces, all worked into different shapes and sizes. And finally, buttons. Buttons are everywhere out on these fields. It's amazing that they kept their clothes on back in the day. These usually go back 100, 200, 300 years, these buttons. They are everywhere in these fields, but you have to dig them all. You dig them all because those same button signals can end up being really nice things. So this is my entire pouch here. We'll start with these, what we call Grotti Roman bronze coins. These are probably from around 200 to 300 AD. Usually you can't see anything. On this one, you can see a little detail. There was a bust on one side with some lettering, this statuesque woman on the other side, but for the most part, they're in terrible shape. And then you find odd things like this. I had no idea what this was when I found it. Turns out it was an 8th century Saxon hooked fastener used on their leg bindings. We have a fellow in the club who identifies all of these finds for us. So that was really unusual. Did not expect to find that. Here's all the silver coins I found, all the hammered silver coins. I did pretty good, but the best find for me of the entire trip was this. This is a bucket lister right here. This was my first silver Roman denarius. This one happens to be from 46 BC, and it was minted during the reign of Julius Caesar. And it's in pretty good shape. Now here's a picture of one that is in excellent shape, but it's the one I have, the one I found. So you can imagine how happy I was to find this, especially with it in pretty good shape like this. So here are some of the hammered silver coins, or hams. One of them I found was this King John voided short cross from around 1190. There's some bits and pieces of hammered silver coins that are in terrible shape, but here's a big silver groat that I found from Edward IV, minted around 1460. Some others that have yet to be identified. These are my milled silver coins, most of which were slick. However, I did get this one little threepence or threepence from Queen Victoria's time, minted in 1854. Little bits of silver, including this thing, which I think is solid silver. It's probably going to be a religious relic. Once I get it home, I'll get it cooked and get this crust off of it. We think it might be Madonna holding a child. Little bits of silver, silver button. Here's a hammered copper coin that I found. It's probably a token that has yet to be identified. And there, of course, are all the watch winders. Watch winders are pretty popular out there as well. Those get dropped quite a bit. There's just a clog fastener and a mount, and we've got some lead musket balls, the bale seals, the lead bale seals. These two bottom ones are Russian bale seals, one dated 1817 and one dated 1815. Those are fun to find. Makes me wonder what was in those bales that they were sealing. I imagine some sort of grain or some kind of food product. Here are some of the better buttons that I found that I'll get home and get tumbled to clean up. There's a strange coin to find out in one of these fields, one of these 17th century Chinese cash coins. Normally the coins are in terrible shape, having been in these farm fields for just hundreds of years. However, this one from the 1860s is a Victoria halfpenny. Is in really good shape. It does have environmental damage, but look at the strike on this thing. It's in really excellent condition, considering it's been in the ground for 150 years. This one I thought was going to be a bucket lister. I thought it was a U.S. large cent at first because it says 1 cent on the back, but then I looked more closely. It's the East India Company coin from the 1840s. The rest of these greenies will get tumbled once I get them home, and I'll try to identify them, see if there's any detail on them. Usually they're just smooth, but you never know. Mostly they'll be Georgian. And of course we got the nails and the tacks, and yeah, those were all my finds. And while I was showing you all these, I happened to have these two little kittens that showed up on our barn, sitting in my lap. Thanks for watching.